Big trees here, I tell ya. Is it party or what? Gorgeous rest area. These trees are huge. So pretty. All kinds of room to walk around here in the woods. Hey y'all, it's me Marty. Welcome to another video. I'm getting a much needed walk, hike, ramble here at a gorgeous Oregon rest area. So this is the Aurora, Oregon northbound rest area on I-5, just south of Portland. I got unloaded this morning and don't have a reload yet, probably tomorrow morning hopefully. And yeah, so I'm done for the day and found a nice place to park. I fueled up at the Flying J just south of here, and I thought I might as well park at the rest area. It's been really hot lately. Didn't even leave my truck much yesterday, but it's a little cooler. It's like 75. That's still too warm for me, but it's nice compared to 100. And beautiful rest area. And yeah, so I'm just walking around, getting some exercise, exploring a little bit, and then I'm actually going to hang up my hammock. I think these trees will hold it. Good night. And yeah. And I'm going to sit in my hammock, rest a little bit, but I'm going to chat a little bit. I'm going to share 3 stories. Yep, it's time for Marty's Trail Tales number 2, episode number 2. Finally, you've been waiting, I know you have. Yeah, so I got 3 stories, just kind of outdoor stories, some fun things to talk about, and I'll share that in a little bit. This feels great. I'm telling you, I've been aching for some hammock time. I'm a little bit closer here. Yeah, it's been so hot lately that I haven't wanted to leave my truck much. You know, get some walks in and run my laps around the truck, exercise like I've been doing, and to be consistent at that. But I haven't, it's been too hot for a hike or even just to be outside very long. Still a little too warm for me. It's about 75 degrees. I know some of you love that, but I'm getting to the point where between 30 and 40 is perfect for me. Anywho, yeah, this is nice. These trees are huge. This is a really nice rest area. I mean, yes, it's a rest area. There's traffic, there's people around, some noise, but it's still beautiful. And yeah, I'm guessing these are pine trees or some kind of spruce. They're massive trees. If anybody knows, put it down in the comments. If ever, you know, you're watching my video and you see something, especially if I don't know what it is, put it in the comments what it is if you know, like the flower or the mushroom or the tree or whatever. Oh, anyway, I went in slow to make sure this was going to hold me. This is my lightweight hammock. I don't know, it was like 15 bucks at Walmart I got years ago. I haven't never really used it too much. It's a lightweight one, very small. And I just got tree straps, simple. Somebody asked me what kind of knots I use to tie up my hammocks. I don't tie them up. I just get the tree straps. They're like 9 bucks at Walmart. They just go around. There's all different loops. You just pick the one you want. Got carabiners to hold it up, and there's no knots, you know. I mean, you can tie knots if you want to, but you don't have to. And tree straps are good for the tree. They're better than paracord anyway. Yeah, just simple. But anyway, this is a lightweight hammock. And I mean, I went in slow to make sure it's gonna hold me. But honestly, so if you've seen my last video, my new healthy lifestyle, it's going good. It's challenging, but it's not as hard as I thought, and it's working. Matter of fact, I weighed myself again this morning. I shouldn't have, because I'm going to do it just once a week, like on Saturdays. You don't want to weigh yourself every day. And it says I've lost 5 pounds. Yeah, so in 7 days. So that's pretty good. And yeah, it'll go up and down or whatever, but it's working. Again, it's just simple. There's all different diets out there, lifestyles, whatever you want to do whatever's best for you, and talk to your doctor first. But this is working. Again, just pretty much eating whole foods and, you know, veggies and fruit and lean meats and nuts, and very little processed food, very little fast food, no fast food really at all. And making sure I'm below my calories that I should have for the day, and I'm exercising, and yeah, I feel good. I'm drinking lots of water, getting more sleep, and so yeah. But yeah, anyway, this feels good. Oh, I love a hammock. Life is better in a hammock. Okay. Welcome to Trail Tales number 2, Marty's Trail Tales. Okay, so I picked 3 little stories to share with you again today. Actually, a couple of them are a series of stories, really. But the first one is when I was younger. The second story is a few years ago. And the third story is the last few years. So I made a list. I have like 80 to 100 stories, just things that, funny things, interesting things, scary things, just fun experiences in the outdoors. It might be on trail, might be on the water or whatever, but it's outside. And just to share with you, so I want to pick them from different time periods and just share. Every time I do one of these videos, I'll share three stories. Okay, so the first story, and again, it's more of a time period, but it's called Ice Fishing Memories. Okay, so, and this will maybe really be interesting if you're not from the north or Minnesota. You maybe don't know what a fish house is, an ice house, or what ice fishing is. So when I was younger, I did a lot of ice fishing with my dad, and basically the years 1976 to 1982. It's only 6 years, but yeah, maybe I did it when I was younger too, but I remember those years. And I would go with my dad ice fishing, and so my dad built the fish house, and I actually remember watching him build the fish house. And yeah, I was probably 8-10 years old, and the mid 70s, and he built it, and I believe it was I'm gonna say 8 by 14 fish house, something like that. It was brown with white trim. I remember it had 4 bunks in it. He had an apartment-sized stove in there. He had cupboards and a table, and he had lights and buzzers over the holes. So he had 4 holes, 1 in each corner, and then lights and buzzers on the wall. And they had like those automotive points, I think, or electrical points or whatever, that held the fishing line. And when we got a fish, that line would pull out of the point, the light would go off, and it would rattle the reel. And actually we had buzzers too. And then you go over and reel in the fish. When you're not fishing, you're doing other fun things. So yeah, it was just really neat. So we would go up, usually we would usually go right after Christmas, and usually be done ice fishing around the beginning of February. Now you could put lighter houses out before Christmas if the ice was frozen and thick enough, and you could leave those houses out later into February till fishing season is over, middle of February or whatever it is. But his house was pretty big and heavy, so he didn't want to take any chances. So it was usually right after Christmas, and then he'd usually take it off beginning of February to be safe. And yeah, it was interesting. The first time we go up there, he brought the fish house from home after it was built the first time, but then he left it at the campground, the resort that was on the lake. And where we fished was Mille Lacs Lake in northern Minnesota. A pretty big lake. There's parts of it you can't see the other side, but it's still just a speck compared to like Lake Superior or oceans, but it's a pretty big lake. It was on the north, if I remember right. Watch for bugs here. You know me and bugs. Critters. Yeah, I love the outdoors, but I'm a wimp. I admit it. But yeah, so this was it was the Red Door Resort north of Garrison, Minnesota, on the kind of the northwest corner of the lake. And so he stored his fish house there in the resort, paid for it to be there. And so it was like a cabin in the summertime, and we'd go out and camp in it too, and go out fishing and stuff. But he mainly used it for ice fishing in the wintertime. So we would drive up there, and yeah, again, we'd go usually like the day after Christmas, and we'd stay till after New Year's. We'd be up there for like a week and a half or whatever, and then go up on weekends. When I was in school, I'd go with them, and but I always liked the week from Christmas to New Year's. It was always fun. So yeah, we'd get up there, we'd go up in his pickup, and we'd get up there, and he had a snowmobile, and then he had built this, and it was an old, nothing fancy, it was an old yellow and black Skidoo snowmobile. And he had built this trailer, and if I remember right, he painted it to match the snowmobile. Just a wooden trailer with skis, and we would put all the stuff in there. Like, we'd bring boxes of food up, and bait and all that stuff. He'd have clothes and radio and all different things, in the trailer, and then we'd get on the snowmobile and we'd go out in the lake. So the way this works, the lake is frozen, if you don't know. And you go down to the lake shore, and the resort owners keep it plowed so that there's a trail going out there, especially if there's a lot of snow on the ice. Also, sometimes we called it the breaker. The ice moves. The lake moves, and the ice cracks and stuff. And sometimes it builds up along the shore, and there's giant pieces of ice. And then and then there's open water there, and then it'll refreeze and it'll move. Oh, it's just crazy. As a matter of fact, I remember different years where they had to use dynamite to blow up the breaker, and so that they could put a bridge across the water, and so we could get out there or get back. Anyway, so we get on the snowmobile and we go out on the lake, and it'd be a little ways out there, a block or two, and it was kind of neat. People had their fish houses in all different areas, you know, but that was a good fishing spot, you know, straight out from the resort, about a block or two out, and it was like a little neighborhood. So my dad had his fish house, and then all his buddies from work had fish houses, and it was like a little neighborhood, and we're all there, and just like in the Grumpy Old Men movie, you know, just like that. It's just like that. And you'd walk back and forth to each other's house and have coffee together or beer or whatever, or have dinner together, or fish fries, and just hang out and stuff. It was just really a neat little community there. And but yeah, we get up a lot of times. We go up like a Friday evening or whatever. Get up. It seemed like it was always dark when we got up there, unless we went up on Saturday, but it's usually Friday night. And we get out to the fish house and unlock it. Then he'd start the heater, and then we'd open the holes, and they had frozen over from the last time we were there, so he had to drill the holes with an auger, and then scoop out the ice with the scoop. I actually have a scoop like that he had in his fish house. I have one hanging in my workshop. It's kind of a memory. But yeah, get things ready, get it heated up. You turn the radio on, and you know. We just settle in, put our sleeping bags on the bunks, and you know, we each had a bunk, and it's just really fun. And the thing is, again, you don't hold the fishing poles. I'll get to that in a minute, where you can do that, but most of the time you don't. They're mounted on the walls, and you know, you just hang out. You play cribbage, play cards, play games, eat summer sausage and cheese, or Christmas cookies, or you know, just hang out, and just you didn't really spend a lot of time fishing. If the buzzer light went off, you know, you go reel it in. but you just hang out. It was like camping. You know, sometimes I take the snowmobile, go for a snowmobile ride just around on the lake, or I'd go to shore and go for snowmobile rides in the woods and stuff. It was fun, and we caught a lot of good fish. Mostly it was walleye. I think we got some northern perch, really big perch. Tulipies, I remember. I don't know if they're whitefish or silverfish or something. I remember they're really shiny. And eel pout. We didn't like getting the eel pout. Eel pout was kind of like a bullhead, only much bigger, slimy, stingers on there, big long things. And the thing is, not all the time, but sometimes, well, many times, we get an eel pout on the line, right? And so we have 4 lines kind of spread out in the fish house. Well, they're only separated by like 6-8 feet. So the eel pout on one line would wrap around the other lines, and then we pull it in, and we have all these lines tangled. Yeah, and then we'd throw the eel pout out on the ice. That's what we do with all the fish. Throw them out on the ice, they'd freeze, and then we'd clean them the next day, or clean them when we take them home. And the eel pout, I don't remember. I think we ate them. I think it was just like bullhead and catfish. I think my dad smoked them, if I remember right. But nobody really liked to get a eel pout. Anyway, but that was fun. And then going up to the lodge, you know, we'd go up there in the evenings. Not all the time, but some evenings we'd go up there and we'd have dinner. It was a bar, restaurant, and oh gosh, some memories. You know, we'd have burgers and fries. I remember eating cheese curds, cheese balls, and all these different really good foods, chili and soup and stews and stuff. And they had a pool table, so we played pool. There was ping pong, there was air hockey, there was pinball machines, and a jukebox. Oh, I still remember some of the old country songs we'd play, and it was just kind of fun. We'd be up there for hours and then go back to the fish house, and so we usually went up there one evening here and there and stuff. But yeah, and sometimes when it was really nice out, you know, like if it was sunny and not real cold, let's say in the 20s or whatever, you know, we'd sit outside. And I did this many times. I really liked it. I'd drill a hole outside, or have my dad do it, and I'd sit on a stool with a little pole or a tip-up. A tip-up is like a thing that you put over a hole, and a flag will go up when a fish is on there. That's another way you can fish outside. Just have one or two of those out there. You can sit in a chair. But I'd sit on a little stool, you know, and I'd have hot chocolate or coffee or whatever, and just sit there and hold the pole and actually fish. That was kind of fun when it was nice out. But yeah, just really kind of, I don't know, just kind of a neat memory from my childhood. Again, my parents were divorced when I was like a year old, and they divorced, and I grew up with my mom and stepdad, and all that was hard. I didn't grow up with my brothers and sisters, and I didn't see my dad a lot, but I got great memories when I did, and a lot of it was camping and fishing, and really enjoyed the ice fishing days. So yeah, that's just some memories. There's a lot more too, but that's just a few of those. Okay, story number 2. Not on a trail, this one's on a lake. This one I'm calling Canoe Drift. Yep. So this was 2017. I think it was like July. It was on Lake Ripley, just south of Litchfield, Minnesota. And we live just west of Litchfield now, just south of Grove City. And we were renting a house on the lake. And I had built a dock. I don't know if I did a video of that or not. Oh, by the way, when I talk about different trail tales, I'll try to put a picture right here or over here, probably there. I don't know. Just one picture about the story, you know, if I have some of them I might not. But also there's videos of some of these stories too, so you can check them out, and I'll put links in the description if there's a video on my channel about one of these stories, and you can watch them. As far as ice fishing with my dad, I don't have videos. I wish I did, but I have pictures, and if you want to watch the tribute to Dad video, there's some pictures in there from when we were ice fishing and stuff. So yeah, Canoe Drift, no, there's not a video, but I was videotaping when it happened, but I didn't keep the video for some reason. I think that was before, I don't know if that was, well, it was about the time I started making videos, but yeah, I wish I didn't keep that one. Anyway, what was happening, I built a dock on the lake because there was no dock, and out of the scrap wood. It was kind of crazy. And one day I went out in the canoe. So we have, again, a 17-foot aluminum canoe. Got a little leak in it. It's got a lot of dents, but it works great. And I went out in the canoe. I told my wife I'm going to go out for a while, and it was a nice day. If I remember right, it was like summer going into fall. It wasn't real hot. A little breeze. It was mostly sunny. And I went in from the dock, which was on the north side of the lake, or kind of the east side of the lake, I guess. Yeah, and I just started paddling, and I was making a video, so I was going around along the east side of the lake, and then I seen something there. It's just the strap, the tree strap swinging. I'm such a wimp. Anywho, where was I? Yeah, so I was going along the northeast side of the lake, just paddling. It was a nice day, and then the wind picked up. I didn't know, I didn't think there was any forecast of storms or anything. The wind started to pick up. Pretty soon it got cloudy, and it started off and on rain, and it got really windy. And the weird thing is, it started blowing, okay? And it was blowing me to the west, which is weird because usually, you know, weather goes east to west, but it blew me west. So there must have been a storm circling, and it just took me. It was all I could do to paddle and keep away from hitting the shore and hitting docks. There's houses and docks and boats and pontoons and all this stuff. It was everything I could do to paddle and keep away from the shore. But if I remember right, I was videotaping at the same time while I was paddling. Why didn't I keep that video? That would have been a great one. Anyway, yeah, so I kept paddling, and I was soaring across the waves and whitecaps. Lake Ripley isn't a real big lake, but it seemed big that day. It was just taking me, and I was kind of scared. Again, I was paddling, doing everything I could do to stay away from the shore, not hitting the docks and the boats and everything, but I didn't want to be out in the middle of the lake either, because that'd probably be worse out there, because it was pretty windy, pretty wavy. And it took me. I was sailing. I was in a canoe sailing across this lake. And I was getting to the west side of the lake. I thought, okay, well, I gotta be able to stop. Well, I stopped, but I got past most of the houses, and then I was to the west side park on the other side of the lake, and I hit the shore. Bang! There's rocks, and I almost went up onto the grass out of the lake. And but yeah, I was stopped, and yeah, then I just kind of rested. I was exhausted, and I must well, yeah, I did have my phone because I was videotaping. I called my wife, and she rescued me because I couldn't paddle back against the wind, and it was getting stormy and bad. So she came on, she rescued me. So yeah, my hero. Thanks, honey. I think she's rescued me a few times from my little adventures. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, that's trail tale number 2. Trail tale number 3. North Shore hikes together. And this is another series of just different memories I just want to share. So the North Shore of Minnesota is on the west side of Lake Superior, the northeast, that edge, that angle of Minnesota. It's called the North Shore, and it's north of Duluth. Duluth is a city. I know there's things to do there, but we're not crazy about Duluth, but we want to get past Duluth. And it's a few hours, a beautiful drive on Highway 61 north of Duluth that goes to Canada, and that, you know, it goes all the way to Canada. And it's just a beautiful area. I've said this before, it's my favorite part of Minnesota, and it's my favorite part of the country. And my wife and I love to go up there. The funny thing is, so that I just have some different trail memories and stuff from the last 4 years. We didn't start doing this till 2020. I've lived in Minnesota my whole life. Now, I have been up there before, in younger days, years ago, but we hadn't gone up there too much to, you know, just to go hiking and to stay and do things. But we started in 2020, so we've been going the last 4 years. We haven't went this year yet, so I'm hoping and praying we can go this fall. But we love it up there. It's just a beautiful area, and it's not, in the summertime it can be busy because a lot of people go up there, but it's peaceful. Even in the summertime it's nice up there, and it's not super busy, and in the off season it's really nice, and it's always a little cooler up there. It's northern Minnesota, and it's on a big lake, Lake Superior, huge lake, one of the biggest lakes in the world. I think it's the biggest or second biggest freshwater lake, I think, if I remember right. Anyway, yeah, so you got Lake Superior. So there's all different places where you can just stop and just collect rocks or sit by the water. There's wayside rests, there's rest areas, there's resorts, there's campgrounds, bed and breakfast, there's little cafes and restaurants, and just there's all these gift shops, wonderful places, unique places, different roadside attractions. It's just a wonderful place. And there's over 300 miles of hiking trails on the Superior hiking trail system. Waterfalls like you wouldn't believe. Beautiful, gorgeous waterfalls. We don't have mountains in Minnesota, but there's some hills up there, and the rivers, there's a bunch of different rivers that run down the mountains, hills into Lake Superior, and there's waterfalls. And what's really cool is you can actually pull over and see most of the waterfalls right from Highway 61, from the North Shore Drive. And yeah, you can go on hikes and go camping and go places and see more waterfalls and stuff, but you can see a lot of them right from the road. So yeah, so there's just so much to do up there. The hiking, yeah, what was I just gonna say? I said the waterfall. Oh, state parks. There's seven or eight state parks up there. Yeah, and we've been to all of them. We've camped in one of them. We've hiked in a few of them. Beautiful state parks. And the North Shore is just wonderful. And so my wife and I really enjoy hiking. A few years ago, we really got into it more. So I'm just going to share just some different memories of a bunch of different trails we've been on up there. I started thinking about it. Honey, maybe you can remember more too, and put them in the comments if you remember other ones or other memories from these. I'm just trying to remember some of the things we did and the different memories we have. So there's the Split Rock River Trail. And honey, if you remember that one, it's like a loop trail and it goes around the river. We did like half of it, and when we got back in there, there was a little waterfall. It wasn't real big, but it was gorgeous. If you remember that, it was wonderful. And there was actually a geocache there, and I got a geocache, and it was a paracord bracelet like this. Is a black one. I still have it. I think I have it in one of my other backpacks. And there's a guy fishing there, if I remember right, but a beautiful little waterfall. Nice trail in through the woods along a river. I remember right, it was kind of wet that day, so we didn't do the whole thing, and I think maybe a bridge would have been out. I don't remember, but that was a beautiful trail. I'll never forget that waterfall. I don't think we got a video of that one, but yeah, that was really nice. And then there's a Split Rock Lighthouse. And if I remember right, we parked there, we hiked some of it, and then just went into the lighthouse. Split Rock Lighthouse is like an iconic lighthouse, and I'm sure you've seen pictures of it on the North Shore of Minnesota. Beautiful lighthouse on a rock, and there's actually just south of the lighthouse, there's a rest area where you can pull over, and there's a beautiful view of the rest area from the road down the way, and that was really neat. I remember we went up in there, you could see where the light was, and lots of wonderful history there. Beautiful view of Lake Superior, just so neat. Then there's Black Sands Beach. Black Sands Beach is it Silver Bay or Two Harbors? I think it's Silver Bay, yeah. And there's an American Inn there. We stayed there that once or twice, I think. And we've been there in the spring, in the fall, and in the winter. And Black Sand Beach is it's a neat thing. There's trails there, and the beach is on Lake Superior, and the sand is like black, and I think it has something to do with the iron ore, I think, from up there. I think, if I remember right. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just a beautiful beach area. It's just gorgeous. Neat place to collect rocks. And so yeah, we had fun there. If I remember right, honey, I think the first time we went there, was it there? I'm pretty sure that it was Black Sand Beach, and down at the end we actually pulled over before we knew there was a place to go down to the beach the other way, and we just walked down through the trees. We were off trail in it, and if you remember, that was really steep, and we went down there, and then there was like almost like a cave. The rocks are just gorgeous. If you remember that, we got pictures. Remember, we had our hiking sticks and we were collecting rocks and stuff. That was really pretty. And then in the winter, we went there. The only time we ever went to the North Shore in the winter time was 2 years ago in January. We gotta start doing that again. We gotta go up there more. We just love it. Anyway, that was beautiful. I mean, it was like 30s and 40. It wasn't a real cold that weekend. We decided to go up there. Just gorgeous. Yeah, we stayed at the American Inn that time, and then we got up early and we walked down to the beach and we watched the sun come up over the lake. So we got sunrise, you got Lake Superior, and then you have the ice and the snow, and just gorgeous, just so pretty. That was really neat. I'll never forget that. And I remember a couple of times the spring and the fall when we went that we went down to the beach there, and you were collecting rocks and I went for a little hike. Remember that? There's on the right side of the beach there's a big bluff area, and you can climb up to the top of this rock. Not really a trail, but everybody does it. They climb up there, and yeah, so I always climb up there, and that's really kind of cool. Neat view from up there. But yeah, that's Black Sands Beach. And then there's Grand Portage. So Grand Portage is, if you drive up 61, drive up North Shore, it's right on the border of Canada. Grand Portage is a state park, and it has the high falls there. The largest waterfall in Minnesota, I believe. And there's a lot of history there too. All these places have wonderful history, but there's a tarred trail, and it's only less than a mile, maybe a half mile, I think, to the falls. And you walk up there, gigantic falls. And I think last time we were there, they were huge. Just, we were getting wet from the spray. Just massive waterfall. Just beautiful. And what's really kind of cool is there's trails on the other side of the waterfall there. There's a river there. I don't remember what river it is. On the other side is Canada. And there's people on the trails there, and sometimes you can wave to people in Canada. So that's kind of cool. Sometime it'd be fun if we could go just cross into Canada and then turn around and go on the trail in Canada on that side of the falls. It'd be fun. But yeah, that's really pretty. So I want to see some beautiful waterfalls. And really, from our house to the Canadian border to the Grand Portage, maybe 6 hours, Duluth is like 3 hours, and then it's really only another 3 hours to the border. So the North Shore Drive is about 3 hours. So there's incredibly so much beauty in a 3-hour drive. But yeah, Grand Portage. And then there's Grand Marais. So Grand Marais is a little further south from Grand Portage. Beautiful little town, real touristy town, a lot of gift shops and different things there. Lots of different trails around there. But we did the Artist Point Trail, which was right by the marina there. And there's actually 2 ways you can go. So it's not real long or any big deal or anything, but it's really beautiful. So you go out on this, it's like a peninsula, and a lot of it's concrete and rocks and stuff, and a few trees in there. And you know, yeah, it's called Artist Point. I think people sit out there and paint or write or whatever. It's just a beautiful, beautiful spot. Lots of places to sit. But what I really like is if you go, so that's on the right side of the point. If you go left, there's a woods area and beautiful trails in the woods. People don't talk about that as much. I don't know why, but we went through there. Just gorgeous. Funny if you remember that. Just a beautiful woods area, neat little trails up and down, and I mean, you can see Lake Superior right there. So that's really kind of neat. Some of those trails. A lot of the trails on the North Shore are on the west side of the highway. Then they go up in the hills. But a lot of the trails and places to see are on the east side of the road, which are on the lake shore, and those are really neat too. So yeah, that's Grand Marais. Okay, and then the Onion River hike. So it's really only about a mile up and a mile down. Yeah, it's about a mile, 2-mile round trip if I remember right. But it's pretty steep, and we actually got a hotel there. What was it? The Cliffhanger, Cliff Dweller, I think. Yeah, neat hotel. I think that's our favorite hotel now, or one of them. It's like $100 a night, and it's rustic and beautiful and clean, and it's on the cliff, on the edge of Lake Superior. It's really on a cliff. It's really neat. And the Onion River and the trail is just a few blocks from there. But yeah, that was a neat trail. We did that one I don't think we ever went to the top. It seemed like, yeah, we never really went all the way up. So we go on really short hikes, y'all, but we have fun. They're wonderful. And but yeah, you know, you walk up the trail. It's really steep. I remember there's lots of birch trees. I remember one time it was winter. When we went up there in winter, we walked up there, hiked up there. It was beautiful, and you can hear the river. So the Onion River is cascading down along the trail. And yeah, next time we go up, we'll have to go to the top, because then you can see the falls and it's going down and stuff. But that's a beautiful trail, Onion River Trail. That was a fun hike. Then Tetagooch. So that's another state park, and I remember that one time I think we were on our way home, and we pulled over and we walked down, not where the falls are, but down up from the waterfalls. And if you remember, honey, we went down, we put our feet in the water, and you were collecting rocks. Oh, that was gorgeous, just crystal clear water. That was fun. That was just a short little hike down to the water there, but that was really fun. Gitchigami or Gitchigumi. There's a whole bunch of those different trails up there. And this was along Lake Superior. And it was a tar trail. Not much of a hike, really. But if you remember, we parked there, honey. And what was really neat there, I think the trail crosses the highway and goes up in the hills. We didn't go there, but we just went a little ways. But what was really neat there is there's a giant cliff, rock face there. Is it Silver Creek Cliff or something like that? I don't know. But there's 2 neat things there. First of all, there's people rock climbing straight up this thing, and I could never do that, but it was neat watching them. And then there was that photographer there, and he was taking pictures of hawks, and they were up. There was a nest of hawks up there, and I thought that was really cool. That was kind of fun. That's why I wanted to mention that one. Not really a hike so much, but it was kind of fun to see. Cadence River Wayside. Now this is a little rest area on Lake Superior, and I remember we pulled over there. We were just walking through the trails in the woods, and it's right along the lake. It was just gorgeous. That's the thing. There's so many places that you can just pull over on the North Shore, Lake Superior, and just enjoy the water, rock collect, go for a hike. It's just beautiful. That was a really neat spot there. The Sugarloaf Trail. If you remember that was that loop that went through the woods, and I think if I remember right, it was raining for part of our hike, but it was still fun, and it was a big variety. And that was one of those geological areas. It was just all different trees, and then you come out into another area and there's different trees and stuff. And just gorgeous, just beautiful variety of different trees and woods, and then it came out down by the lake again. So it's a woods hike, and yet it comes out by Lake Superior. So those ones are really neat. Another one of those, well, it's coming up here. I'll talk about that. It's like Caribou Falls was another hike we did. If you remember, honey, that was the one. It was really steep. It was really beautiful. And was that last year or the year before? And the water was really high, like almost overflowing onto the trail. The river was just rushing. It was Caribou River, and the waterfalls just gushing. And that was a neat hike. I remember it was really steep, and the water was just about going over the trail. Iona's Beach. It's another geological place, and there's trails that go down through the woods, and then it comes out by the lake at one side, and then it comes out on the other side again. And if I remember right, there was pink rocks. I think that was Iona's Beach. Correct me, honey, if I'm wrong, but I think there was pink rocks on Iona's Beach. That was really pretty. And then Cascade River Falls. That is another state park, and that one was really neat. That's where we camped, and I do have a video of that one. And yeah, we put the tent in the back of the pickup, and we only camped one night. I think we went early because it was going to rain the next day, but it was fun. Wonderful camping. It was cool. And then we did a hike, which I remember we seen lots of mushrooms, and the hike went along the Cascades, the waterfalls and the Cascades, and then we just kept hiking down, and we ended up down by Lake Superior on the beach. And I remember we set up a couple chairs, and when you were collecting rocks, honey, and yeah, we just sitting there, and I remember it was kind of foggy, and then the sun came out, and it was just gorgeous. That was really fun. And there's a lot more. That's just the ones I remember, honey. Maybe you can remember more and put them in the comments, and yeah, if there was other. But there's so many places on the North Shore, y'all. If you get to Minnesota, that's one of the most beautiful parts of Minnesota. Lots of beautiful areas of Minnesota to see, but the North Shore along Lake Superior, incredible hiking, just seeing the lake, all the different things to do up there, and it's peaceful and restful, and it's always a little cooler than other parts of the state. And yeah, so whew, what are we up to? Hopefully we'll keep it under an hour here after I edit it. But yeah, that's Trail Tales episode number 2. So yeah, I'm gonna do I'll try to do it once a week. I know I said I was gonna do that, and it's been a couple weeks, but I'll try to do another one next week, and yeah, just share different stories. I have a lot of them that are actually gonna be on trails, but there's some on the water too, and just outdoors doing different things. Yeah, anyway, I think I'm actually going to take my shoes off, hopefully not to crawl in them, and I'm going to lay in this hammock for a bit. And because that was just a lot of work talking. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and yeah, please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my videos. Again, I just make videos to help people smile and share my life. You never know what you're going to see on my channel. Please go watch my other videos and like them and comment on them. I got over 300 videos, all kinds of stuff. Go watch those older ones. They're great videos, I think. I watch my own videos. I know I'm weird, but really what they are memories of my life, and just, yeah, so it is fun to relive them. But that's a big part of why I make videos. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna rest in my hammock here and just enjoy this beautiful day the Lord has made. I just pray you're all doing well. Thanks so much for watching, and yeah, we'll see you on the next adventure.